Welcome
What's
to the
up, buddy?
Foodie Show. How you doing, man?
Welcome, everybody. How's everybody
Oh,
doing? Hope y'all doing
real
well.
quick. Yes. Real quick, just to the little bet we got going on for if anybody can beat Robert Race. I'm sorry, folks. There's, oh my
Not gonna
god,
happen.
dude.
What's the problem?
Hey, T Carmack.
What's
Hey,
up,
I'm
man?
sorry we didn't get to all your comments and stuff and questions on Friday. Uh, that was just a really fast paced show, but we appreciate
Yeah,
all you folks. So what's up, man? How's your weekend going? Or
wasn't too
how did
bad.
the weekend go? I guess it's over now.
Yeah, it's just about over now. Nah,
Oh,
it,
man.
it wasn't bad, man. It was pretty busy. Done a little catering event yesterday. Nothing too
Okay,
big, but
okay.
60 people, 60 head of people, and just doing a bunch of stuff around here today. Smoked a ham, done some southern staples, smoked some bologna. So you always got to
Oh
have a good
man,
bologna sandwich, man.
I'll never understand it. Never
Hey,
understand it.
it's we're not reinventing the wheel, man. We just smoking big ass hot dogs. That's all. So yeah,
Yeah, that's what yeah, it is.
I
It
mean, it's
is.
just a big hot dog. So I mean, it's we're not
Yeah.
reinventing the wheel.
Hey, the man
What's up,
right
baby?
here. This show just is brought to you by Willow Seasonings. If you look down here in the ticker, the official sponsor of another foodie show, Willow Seasonings. Head over to willowseasonings.com. Use code JOHNSY2022 or TDN 2023. Save yourself 10%. The seasonings are incredible. The sauces are delicious.
Absolutely.
There's more to come on that, by the way. So,
Stick around.
yeah, stick around. So, we got a really cool guest, man. I've chatted back and forth with this guy for a long time. He's another West Coaster, another California guy. So he definitely knows what he's talking about when it comes to barbecue,
There
obviously.
you go. Yeah, yeah, oh yeah. Because
But
yeah,
no, like I mean, he does competitions. I know he
right.
does events and all kinds of stuff. He's all over the map.
That's right.
Um, I always see him on his his Blackstone grill or his griddle flat top.
Hmm.
I know he's got a bunch of barrel cookers. I know I think he rescued a pellet grill one time too. So
Hey,
he's into all kinds of stuff. Yeah, he's got cool recipes, man. He's the guy he's like the definition of the community. Like his attitude and his personality is so chill and
yeah,
really good, down to earth guy.
cool deal.
But he's definitely a barbecue gangster. He knows what he's doing around the grill, and I don't know how many he's gotten into this year, but I know over the last couple of years he did a few competitions and he's just killing it, man. Having
Oh yeah.
tons of fun. Without further ado, the man himself, Ryan, Higher Grill and Barbecue, and how you doing?
What's
Good,
up,
fellas. How's it
Ryan?
going?
Yeah, man. How you?
Good. Man, with that kind of intro, I thought you guys had somebody else on the show tonight.
Oh,
we
all right.
try and really like that's it. Like that's all we have to contribute. So you're the rest of the show, man. Here we go.
That's it.
I know. I was excited. I was like, man, who we got?
Who's this guy? I want to meet him too.
Yeah, that's
Right.
cool.
So how you doing, man? How you been?
Good, man. Good. Tired, busy. It's good though.
Yeah. You've been busy nonstop this weekend.
Yeah.
You had
We
a whole
started.
event yesterday.
We did an autism awareness event yesterday. So we got up. I
That's
got
awesome.
up at 5:30 in the morning and ran till about 6 o'clock at night.
Mhm.
We cooked like five tri-tips, 24 hot dogs, 10 pounds of fries, 6 pounds of carne asada, just nonstop.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah.
that's cool though,
It
man.
don't sound like a lot, but once you in the grind, that's a lot.
Oh
Yeah, exactly.
man, and it's just like
You're
once
like,
it
oh, that's not
starts,
a
it
lot.
just rolls, man. It's just like
Yeah. Once
it's
it's
crazy.
like as soon as that first move towards it's like I don't do events and catering and or comps and stuff yet, but I'll do like a birthday party here and there, whatever. And
Yeah,
we did my mom's 60th, dude, and like making sure I got all the pulled pork and everything all done. And the last thing I was going to do is slice the tri-tips because that's going to cool the fastest.
Yeah.
And in the middle of slicing that second tri-tip, I was like, I don't know how those guys do this. Like, I don't want this. I don't want this.
Well, you see my wrist is like this all the time. So,
Yeah.
I mean, we call it the tri-tip wrist.
Yeah. That's funny.
Oh yeah. Yeah, because y'all probably cook a bunch of them out there.
Yeah.
Being
Usually
the West
like,
Coast cut.
oh man, that tri-tip is like, I try to tell people, I'm like, hey, your best bet is like pulled pork. You're gonna get the most money out of that. And they're like, no, you got tri-tip, right? And I'm like, yeah. I mean, I'll sell you whatever. I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
I'll sell you whatever you want. But
$25 a plate or whatever.
Yeah,
tri-tips aren't cheap over here.
No,
Not like they used to be.
You know what's trippy too is that brisket is cheaper than tri-tip right now.
Wow. I know. First
And I was
time
like,
I've seen it like that in California history, dude. I'm like, man, this is just a weird thing.
Yeah. Yes,
Because
it is.
everywhere else it's the exact opposite. Like they're talking about like $3 whatever brisket, a pound for briskets here and there, and I'm like, man, dude, when I find them like $5.30, I jump all over that.
Yeah. We usually get this isn't a plug for them, but we usually get all of our stuff from Sam's Club. They carry high quality choice, and
Costco.
then they have the so
I go to Costco.
Yeah.
Not the same, but it's all pretty good quality.
Very good.
Like I've noticed the stuff that they get from like good farms. Like I know Costco carries Swift, and I don't know who Sam's Club carries, but like generally those are much better than some of the other stuff that's shipped in house and broken down.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to talk crap. I'm not a professional butcher by any stretch, but
Right.
I like when I take off what I want from the tri-tip or whatever piece of meat. Like I'd rather buy it with the huge fat cap and have to pay like a couple bucks extra for the weight and then trim it to what I like or whatever,
Right?
Mm.
Yeah.
Most people, I guess, for the general consumer who's they don't know what they're doing or don't want to be bothered with that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I like our local. If I'm looking for something special, we have a local guy here that we go and we'll pick up a whole hog or a gator or elk meat or something like that. Yeah. So he's pretty cool with that. But if I'm doing like big business events, then it's I like to get.
You have to go to the big store. You have to.
You do. It's just cheaper.
Yep. Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's like I'd love to support them 100% of my time, but. It's $8.99 a pound versus $4.99 a pound. That's profit that eats into your.
Oh so. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Or you'd have to charge too much that people are going to be like, no, never use that. Never,
yeah. Oh yeah. Oh man, we already get that when it is. As people come over and they're like, "How much you sell for that?" And they're like, "It's this." And they're like, "Oh, all right." Like, all right, dude. I mean, I put my time and it's handcrafted and.
Yeah. People don't. I've very much come to the conclusion that people don't really know, like don't even have an inkling of what really goes into what our kind of pulled pork, the pulled pork we make. And you can throw it in a crock pot and have some decent pulled pork. That's liquid not
smoke.
What we do. Yeah, right. We don't say that. No.
Hell, that's the devil. That's the devil juice.
Right. But no, like when I tell people, like I'll put in my pellet grill, I'll put pork butts on overnight and end up smoking them for 18, 20 hours. And they're like,
yep.
Oh. Yeah, dude. Yes.
Yeah.
You can.
What's your favorite grill that you got right now?
Right
I know
now,
you got quite a few ones bouncing around back there.
I know it's hard to say. As far as grill wise, probably the pit barrels. They're probably they're probably my go-to over anything because it's what I use the business for. They have the big 22-inch drum, so I can put like 15 tri-tips at a time and that thing. So they're probably still my number one grill to use for business and every day. But Monument's actually got quite a few nice little grills. I've had their charcoal grill that I've used a couple times, and it's pretty cool.
Okay.
Okay.
And then of course I have the Traeger, the older Traeger that I rescued.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did you have to do did it work good and everything? Or did you have to break into it and really kind of get some parts for it and stuff?
No, so what happened is my uncle actually passed away like 2.5 years ago, and so it just sat in their backyard. And my aunt was like, "Hey, can you come over and clean out our backyard?" And I'm like, "Yeah." So I brought my truck and trailer over, and she's like, "I want all that stuff gone." And I'm like, "Do these work?" And she's all, "No, I don't think so." And I'm like, "Well, I'm gonna check these out before I take them, to the dump."
Yeah.
So I brought 2 of them home and I plugged them in. And I'm like, "These things work." I just had to clean it up and get it ready. So yeah, I mean, I didn't have to put any money into it or anything. Just cleaned them up and vacuumed them out, and and I gave one to my neighbor and I kept the other one. So
nice. Hell yeah, that's cool.
That's how you do it, right there.
Yeah.
So I like to rescue grills that need new homes. My wife doesn't like it, but I liked it.
Oh no. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I know exactly what you were talking about.
For sure.
I'm on a timeout till I think Christmas this year.
Nice.
Is when I can get all the free grills given to me. Shout out to anybody who's looking for someone, but I cannot purchase anymore for a little while. But
9 months, it's not whatever.
Bad. She bought me the huge Traeger before the XL stuff came out, so I'm not complaining. Yeah, I can listen. Okay.
Right.
But yeah, real quick, let's do a comment recap brought to you by Willow Seasoning. This is just a cool video of me using their seasoning because it's the best and we love it.
Which one is
it?
Sweet Smoke?
That's a Sweet Smoke. And then Feisty Lime. I did a carnita style pulled pork for a tortilla soup. Yeah.
Ooh, that sounds good.
It ended up being pretty good.
Nice.
I enjoyed it. Oh, so okay, who we got up in here? Let's see. Hey, the Rev. What's up, Mikey?
What's up, bro?
This Grill Life. Nice. And of course, Robert is in the house as always. Let's see.
Robert.
That's a young man's game. What, cleaning out the backyard?
Definitely. No, I think he was talking about the whole 12 hours worth of grind.
Oh yeah. He's like semi-retired cook now. He goes in at night when everybody's gone and works for like 3 or 4 hours, and then goes home.
Nice.
T. Carmack says Restaurant Depot. I don't have one of those around here. Massol, what's up, buddy? All right. Let's see. Hey, what's up,
Owen? Hey, Owen.
A wee bit quirky. How you doing, buddy? And of course, our own favorite Brad Redbeard. Congrats on everything lately, dude.
Yeah, killed it.
Yeah, for real. So, what's like because I see you doing all kinds of barbecue. I see you doing like a lot of healthier stuff, and then like straight junk food, fun stuff. Like, what's your favorite stuff to cook? Is it like the crazy fun stuff, or is it you kind of enjoy doing the like those healthy kicks, or what's that's more regular?
So my body loves the junk food cooks, right? I mean, never trust a skinny chef, right?
Yeah, amen.
But my doctor loves the healthy side of stuff. So I really enjoy the aspect of just getting out there and grilling. It doesn't really matter. Like, I mean, it could be a whole hog, or a turkey burger. And I'd love it just the same, because it's getting behind the grill. It's getting your passion. You're out there working what you want to do, and you're not like you're just not you're not stressing over anything. You're just behind the grill and everything just passing by. You're just focused on that piece of meat. So I'm really like, so I'm really trying to get back to like a healthy niche in barbecue, because we all see the pork belly burn-ins, the tri-tips, the all the great delicious stuff. But my doctor told me a year ago, he's like, hey man, you're gonna have to give up barbecue because it's kind of cutting into your health. And I'm like, I'm not giving up barbecue.
No.
I'm like, we're just gonna have to find a way around that. So that's I cut out a lot of like the sauces that because a lot of sauces have sugar and stuff like that in it. So you could put a chicken breast down and ruin it with 20 grams of sugar in the sauce. And man, there's some good sauces out there. Don't get me wrong, I love it, but I like to use the rubs that maybe don't have as much sodium, but they still have a lot of flavor. Blazing Star has a lot of that. He's actually got like a keto sugar-free bundle that he calls. So it's like their beef rub doesn't have any sugar in it or anything like that. So I like to use a lot of that stuff just because it, you still get the barbecue flavor, but you're actually helping, your digestion and your health and stuff like that. So, but like I said, it doesn't matter what I cook. I love doing it all, but I love being creative. So, like like you give me a steak and I'm just, anybody could just set a steak down and grill it. Right. But I take that steak and I'm like, okay, what can I do cool with this? Right.
Right.
So we like we have this partnership that we just started with Branding Iron, and they have like pre-marinated meats. So they have like chicken wings and polo asado and stuff like that. And they have this chimichurri steak. And I picked it up the other day and I'm like, oh man, these look good. And I ended up actually running them through the grinder, and I made chimichurri ribeye burgers. So
let's go.
Yeah. Okay. So I mean, I like to be creative and figure out, how can we twist this and make that cook. So I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I love staring at steak all day long, but I like the creative aspect of grilling. Like what can I do to make this a level above?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And making it your style. That's the thing. I mean, like you said, just putting your own twist on a common dish.
Yeah, absolutely.
So me being from the East Coast, Ryan, what's West Coast barbecue?
West Coast barbecue?
Yeah, what's West Coast?
We have that comment from the crowd too. So everybody wants to know what the hell's West Coast barbecue?
You know what? I want to say West Coast was kind of like late to the game. It was like South Carolina. It was like, Texas. They've all have those established things. And the West Coast comes up and they're like, hey, we can do that too. If I had to answer it, I would say it's Santa Maria. Like that's where it originated, right? The Santa Maria style is what West Coast barbecue is. Me being on the West Coast, I like to say I'm a little bit of everywhere. I mean, I do smoking, I do grilling, I do cold smoking, I do hot and fast, low and slow, whatever, so that's a kind of a mix of everything. I mean, it just,
I got you.
So West Coast, I guess, would be Santa Maria technically.
I got you.
I like to do everything.
Why not?
But I spread myself around.
But that's a good point. Like we kind of benefited being a little late to the party. We introduced, whatever the Santa Maria style, but we also do everybody else's style. So I'm not some Texas guy who's like, oh, I love Kansas City and all my friends hate me, call me stupid because you don't like Texas barbecue, you like the kids or what, whatever.
Right?
Everybody feels some kind of way about where they are and what they do there, and especially on this show.
Yeah, right.
It's that's one thing that's cool about like all of us together in this social media community. Like everybody is from all over the place, so we get to see everybody's stuff, and then like, oh, Damon sees something you do and he's like, damn, that's a good idea, but he's still gonna put his South Carolina twist to it, and then there's a whole nother version of that, and someone else sees that and like, damn, that was a good idea, and now we have like, Canada or another region version, and then like grows into it's essentially, it's just a steak with chimichurri, but now that chimichurri recipe has been there. The chimichurri list of recipes is like this long now, and it's like,
Yep. Yeah, it is so cool to see, like, everybody from wherever they're at, because the inspiration is just like, it's cool. Like Kendrick Barbecue, Benny out there, he was doing, like, everybody for Valentine's Day did these roses, your bacon wrapped roses or whatever, and Benny, he did these, like, he wrapped this pepperoni and cheese up into the to a uh,
It was like
like a dough kind of thing,
yeah.
Yeah. And so I was like, oh, that's cool. So I kind of like start, turning my wheels, and I'm like, dude, I can make that healthy, So I got a low carb flatbread.
Tell us about it.
Oh, okay, yeah. So I got a low carb flatbread. Perfect timing, huh?
Right? Yeah.
And I used Melinda's hot pizza sauce. It's just like crushed red bell peppers, but it's really, really good. I got a low fat mozzarella cheese and turkey pepperoni, and then you just roll it up, and it literally looks like a little rose. And then you just make 12 or however many you want, and throw it on the grill. I threw it on the Traeger for 30 minutes, and I hit it with some Reaper just to make it a little spicy. I like things spicy.
Yeah.
And I told my wife when she came home, I said, hey, there's something on the grill for you. So I wanted to capture like the real, like emotion.
She has that all, she's like, that's sweet.
He got me flowers.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Yeah.
Hey,
she's been talking
flowers right there.
all week about at her. Like I cooked that on the Monday night. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, every day. She's like, the girls at work are still jealous that I got the roses. I'm like,
no, great.
It's cool.
Win-win.
Yeah, it is.
It was nothing for you, babe. No problem. Yeah. Oh,
that's awesome.
I think cool. I think we should circle back real quick to the comments. Brought to you by Willow Seasoning. Damon, what's going on with this one?
Ooh, that's some old simple little grilled pork chops there. Just right over that open fire.
That looks good.
The nice little crust. That Willows will give you a nice little crust on them.
Mm-hmm. So they were wondering. So T. Carmack wanted to know about California barbecue. They want to know what kind of what part of California you're from.
Yeah, Bakersfield. So Kern County. We're like an hour and a half south of Fresno, hour and a half north of LA. So not
that's
too
like
far
3 hours from me, something like that.
I know, man. We got to get together to be so close like that.
That's on me too. I mean, you're actually crazy, busy. Dude. I could do it, dude. My life is busy too. I shouldn't just bring it up like that. But
yeah.
T. Carmack wants to know how much seafood, fish, veggies are you cooking on the regular? And the HGB for everybody is Higher Grilling Barbecue.
Yes, sir. Seafood is by request only. So if the children or wife want it, then it'll get done. I don't like fish, shrimp, anything at all. So I will never ever cook it unless the wife wants it.
On purpose, yeah.
So I mean, I've tried. Like when I first started cooking, I made some tilapia and a garlic butter sauce, and I'm like, I'm gonna eat this, because it's better for you. I took one bite and I gave the rest of it away. I'm like, I can't eat this. I smoked my first salmon for my wife, and she's like, "Oh, it turned out perfect. Eat it." And I took one bite, and I'm like, "Nope, I'm good." So I'm just not a fish guy. But
yeah, veggies, I know a few people like that.
Yeah, I'll do veggies all day long. The Blackstone is great for vegetables. It makes Chinese food very easily and very tasty. The Traegers are great because you just throw them in there and you get a nice little smoke flavor, but it gets that crispiness to it. So it's really good. And then even if you throw it on the smoker, I mean, just for a little bit, I smoke my salsas. So all my salsas usually have a little bit of smoke flavor to it.
Nice.
But, yeah, so veggies all day long. Fish, not so much.
Not so much. I'm just gonna warn you about T. Carmack. It's like playing with a Jeopardy contestant or something. Higher Grilling. Since you have to watch what you eat, what kind of healthier desserts do you put together? That's a good question.
So
I need some.
Yeah. So I'm actually working with Fresh Jacks. They're a organic spice company, and they sent me some other stuff. They asked me what I wanted, and I've worked with them in the past, and they kind of went away. They're like, "Oh, we don't want to be in the barbecue game," and I'm like, "That's cool. I totally understand." 2 years later, they're like, "Hey, can we like kind of start up a little relationship?" I'm like, "Yeah, absolutely. You know, whatever. We'll pick up right where we left. You know." So they actually sent me spearmint. I asked for spearmint leaves, so they're crushed spearmint leaves. Ooh. So I went and I got a sugar-free, low-carb ice cream, some almond milk, and sugar substitute mint chocolate chips. And so for March, I'm making this kind of like a milkshake, but it's going to be the healthier version of like the Shamrock Shake from Mickey.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
smart.
So yeah, it's delicious. It's got the food coloring in it, so it turns green and everything bad. And I'm actually going to smoke it on the grill, so it's going to be a smoked Shamrock Shake.
Heck yeah.
Ooh, okay.
Another level.
Yeah.
I try. So no, yeah, I mean, go ahead, man. I'm sorry.
That's why we love it. No. Never apologize. You're the guest. But that's why we love this show is like sometimes people's brains, man, it's just thank goodness. That's why I just get I'm like a kid in a candy store
right?
Watching stuff online and listening to people and yeah, that I can't even talk. I'm blown away by that. That's a good idea, dude.
It's always, like you say, it's always good to hear everybody else's ideas because we all feed off each other, like you said earlier.
Yeah. And I'd love to do, like, I've seen some desserts going around, like with like the sweet Hawaiian rolls, and they make like the Boston cream pies, and I'm like, oh man, that's so up my alley. But I can't do it.
That. I'm a Boston.
They're good. They look so good, dude. I'm trying to figure out how we can make it sugar free. But like I'm also like for desserts, sometimes I like to do my salsa. I make a blueberry habanero salsa, but I'll use a sugar substitute in it, so it's all sugar free. So you can put that over ice cream, or sugar free ice cream, low carb ice cream, whatever. You can put it on strawberries and make it like a little dessert kind of thing. So
wow,
that's
blueberry,
awesome.
Blueberry habanero, you said?
Blueberry habanero, yeah. We actually took first place for that.
Sounds hot.
Oh, it's good. It's delicious. It's not at all.
Dude, that's it. People hear habanero and immediately oh no. And I'm like, yes, if you stick a habanero in your mouth and eat it, it'll be hot. But
yeah.
Really good chocolates and really good desserts, if you look at them, like from really good stuff, all have cayenne pepper in it, or paprika, or some kind of chili powder, because that spice, that heat, kicks off all that sweet flavor in this huge.
Yep.
That's why it's like that. So
absolutely.
So
is this a dessert we got here, Jonesy? Since we're on the dessert, we'll just play it. Here we go.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, those are good. Those are not sugar free, but they are delicious. So in we had an SCA competition coming up, and I was trying to, with those are all creative entries. So I'm like, how can we make something creative? So I did some chopped up apples, and then I made melted down some caramel, and then added in I used the caramel there, and I added the scorpion sauce to it, and made a little empanada. I was really terrible at the empanada, but it came out really crispy and delicious. So you have this nice, you bite into it, and it's like a warm apple pie, and then you get hit with that scorpion and then the sweetness together, and it's, oh my gosh, like it was so delicious.
Yeah,
it was amazing.
Yeah.
I do enjoy those scorpion and reaper rubs. I really do.
They're amazing.
That sweet, how it just blends with. It's just that well done, Mike. Mm-hmm. Well done.
Yep.
Is that the one I had?
So Robert had a good question.
Oh,
where'd it go?
Okay.
Where'd it go? And I lost it. There it is.
I was a little bit, Tony. I was a little bit.
Here it is.
I'm such a huge fan of shrimp. I'm just so sad when people don't like shrimp and lobster and stuff.
I'm sorry, buddy.
No, it's cool.
I'll cook it if you want me to, man. But I won't eat it with you.
The funny thing is it's like they literally are the insects of the ocean. They eat the algae like they're bugs.
Yeah.
And I hate bugs on this earth. I hate them.
Right.
I hate spiders. The only thing I'm cool with are honeybees because they make honey and we need them. I mean, we need bees. I understand everything
Right.
has its purpose, but I hate spiders. I don't like that they can be near me. I don't know why people live in Australia where there's just these huge ones on your walls all the time. Ugh. But hey, throw them in some salt water. Those bugs sure get tasty.
Right.
But no, Robert was asking Ryan. He said he would like to hear about his autism event and the role he plays as a chef and a mentor.
Ooh.
Oh, so this is actually our first autism event that we did. We have a local autism network here called Current Autism Network, and we reached out to them. They were looking for food vendors, and so we actually signed up with them, and it was really cool because like we served, like they had a car show, so we served a lot of the guys that came for the car show first, and then about 12 o'clock, all the autistic kids and people came. And it was really cool to see them, because they're high functioning, and these guys, they just they just need love, and it's so sad to see how the world treats autistic people and children because they're almost like you don't have time for that,
Yeah.
and it's like, man, these guys, my wife worked special ed for 3 years, and so she's got a huge heart for it, and of course that I have got a heart for them too. And so we like to do events like that, especially when it has a meaning behind it, and we actually talked to the owners of the company, the 501c, and they're actually going to start working with us a little bit more this year too, so we'll actually be involved with more autism events. And the as far as as a mentor or chef, I haven't really got into that with anybody. I'd love to start something with that with a group in town here. I'd like to have a barbecue club, that we sit around and talk about stuff. It would be great because we really don't have that here. Like, it's kind of weird. Like all my people that I talk to, they're all spread over the U.S. And it's like we really don't have in Bakersfield. You can't be like, hey, I'm going to go over here. I mean, we have like barbecue joints, but we don't get together, and chit chat. So I don't really play a role as far as a chef or a mentor, other than, if people, I always tell people, hey, if you want to know something, come and tell me. I'm not like one of those stuck up barbecue guys that are like, this is my recipe, I will never share it. I'm like,
right,
hey,
that's right.
That looked really good. How'd you do it? I'm like, well, hey, you got to do this, and this, and you can make it yourself, and then put your own spin on it and show me what you did with it, because that's cool too, So
for sure.
Oh man, we're gonna have to dip into these comments again real quick, man. What person gave you, Ryan? What person gave you your inspiration to start cooking, and what person personally pushes your creativity nowadays as a cook to be better? So, and into that, give us a little history about how all this where did Higher Grilling come from? How did you get into barbecue? Have you been barbecuing your whole life? And
So my wife and I met. I'll try to put it in a nutshell as quickly as possible. So I'll try to sum up 10 years of my life here.
Right.
So like we met, and I kind of dabbled in barbecue, here and there. I did like a steak or whatever, once in a while, whatever. It wasn't really like I wasn't into barbecue. And then we moved into this house. We were renting it. It had a little barbecue pit in the back. And I'm like, I'm going to try barbecuing, this was, 4 years ago. No, 1920, 5 years ago. And so I kind of like self-taught myself. I was like, hey, this looks good, I'm just going to throw it on there. And then I met a guy in Georgia. His name is Mark, and he's really cool. He's been by my side since day one. And he was like, hey man, you need, I had questions. He'd be like, hey, this is what you do, so he's kind of like I called him my barbecue mentor.
Yeah.
And he kind of walked me through different cuts, because he's like, hey, you need to do a brisket. I'm like, what's a brisket?
Right. Yeah.
you know? And then he's like, hey, you need to do like this or you need to do that or whatever. And I'm like, oh, okay. You know, so in the beginning when I started, it was for myself just because I wanted to do it because I found that I was passionate about it. And so in 18, my wife said we were sitting at dinner and my wife looked at me and she goes, you need to take your food on the road. And I'm like, no. I'm like,
Wow.
I'm not doing
How
that.
supportive though.
That's right.
Awesome.
Yeah, she's very supportive, and I'm not going to do that. She's like, well, at the least start in the barbecue competitions, and I'm like, yeah, that's kind of cool. I want to do that. So, in 2019, we registered as a business, as a sole proprietorship, and so, so I have like all the business tax and liability and all that crap. It's fun tax seasons now.
Yeah, I'm sure that's a joy.
So in 2019 we started it, and Higher Grilling Barbecue to me is, I sat there and I thought about the name forever because everybody comes up with the funny names and the whatever you want. And I'm like, no, what do I want Higher Grilling for? And so, or what do I want this business to be? And so Higher Grilling Barbecue to me is a double standard, or not a standard, but a double meaning for me. So one, Higher Grilling is to like support, the Lord, we're Christian family. So I wanted to represent him in our cooking and in our business. And then for second, I'm offering a higher standard. So it's I'm just not another barbecue guy. You come to me, you get your meat cooked on site. It's handcrafted. Everything's put together. So you have a higher standard of something when you come and you get served by us. So in 2019, we started as a barbecue competition, and then last year we went to an event, and my wife was like, "Hey, you need to start at the business now," and I'm like, "No, I'm not doing that," And she's like, well, make these things, and what they're called pickle shots, and if they go over well, then you'll promise me you'll start the business. And I'm like, okay, sold, because these aren't going to go over,
Yeah,
and
surely these will go nowhere.
Oh man,
Straight
15 minutes. 15 minutes, everybody just demolished them. She looked at me and I'll go, fine, I'll file the paperwork on Monday. So we started actively doing events last year, February of last year, and she was kind of the push for that. And I've had so many people, most of them influential, but I've had one guy that I kind of like sit in the back of my mind that makes me push harder and go further. And he sat there and he told me, he goes, you know what? He goes, do what you want with your business, but you'll never go anywhere and you'll never make any money doing this. And I'm like, okay. I go, all right.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. So I kind of use that every day when I want to give up, and I'm like, man, this is sucky. We're not going to do it. We're not going to make it. And I sit there, no, I can't let that become a reality. Yeah. I'm not going to let that become my reality. He's not
going to win. He's not going to win.
So my wife, 100%, my wife and my kids, we do it as a family business now.
That's awesome.
She'll come off of work after 8 hours and come, help me set up and cook until 9 and 10 o'clock at night at events and stuff like that. So yeah, she was the drive in the beginning, and she's the drive that we have now.
That's awesome. That's awesome. You guys do it all as a family and a team too.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's cheaper that way. I don't have to pay anybody.
Yeah. There's
free labor.
Just say free labor, and it's all the money goes all to all you guys, but your kids are learning, responsibility.
That's right.
Different. Yeah. They're learning stuff kids haven't learned for the last 2 generations behind us. So.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I tell people that I'm building a legacy. It's not for me. Yeah. It's for my children, and they're gonna, when I'm gone, and they're still gonna have Higher Grilling, or they can change it to Rainbolt Brothers or whatever they want to do. Yeah. They can do whatever they want, but they have that option that, hey, we can have Dad's legacy, or we can do whatever we want. Because if they don't want to go into barbecue, that's fine too. But no, it's not. But
yeah, it's not really, but I'll support you.
Right.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's good. That's good stuff.
So, what's the competition circuit like? Like, let's get into that a little bit. I'm not
tough.
Like, I think I'd rather do pop-ups than which I will. I just am not that guy yet.
Yeah.
Than do comps, because the whole notion of building my barbecue to appease these 3 people's tastes, that it really like aggravates me to my soul. And it's like I challenge that. And okay, yeah. What's it like doing competition before I get all crazy into that?
Oh man,
So
competitions are a whole nother animal. Like,
Yeah,
when I first went into it, I was like, hey, I'm gonna cook this, ribs like I would cook it for me because that's what tastes good. And we came in dead last in all the areas, our chicken, our pork, our
it's
the
good to
beef,
know
the
where I would end
everything.
up.
And I was like, man, like this sucks, and I wanted to quit. I told Nicole, I'm like, we were driving home from Fresno actually, and I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore. And she's like, it's your first competition. I'm like, no, I'm freaking pissed. Like I'm driving home like
everything.
pissed, and she's like,
stupid.
yeah, she's like, no, I'm like, don't talk to me right now. Like I'm not the person to talk to. And I talked to my buddy back in Georgia, and he was like, dude, he's like, you cooked it wrong. And I'm all, what do you mean I cooked it wrong? Like everything came out perfect. He's like, no, he's like, you have to focus in on competition barbecue is a 1-bite challenge. That judge is going to pick up 1 rib, take a bite out of the middle, and throw the rest of it away. And I'm like, oh, okay. Same with like a piece of steak. They're going to, you cook a big ribeye and they're going to take 1 bite and pass it around. And I'm like, well, that's stupid, but so you have to change your whole mentality, and you have to like layer upon layer upon layer things for competition. So, you can't just use like a salt and pepper rub. It's got to be salt and pepper, a beef rub, this and that, and all these layers on top, because when that judge bites in to that piece of meat, they have to go like, whoa, and you just have to blow them away with 1 bite. So competitions are tough. It is super tough, but I love it. I'd do it every day if I could.
So would that be like the most soul crushing one? Was that first one?
Oh, absolutely. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And now they just sting if we come in last. Now they just sting.
Yeah, you sucker. Yeah. So, but you've been successful too.
We have. So I took that first event, and that same year, I did a lot of research. I did a lot of practice runs. I did a lot of crap. And our next one we came up to, I took 3rd in ribs, and then we took like 2nd in ribs, and then we were getting 1st place walks. And so by the end of 19, we were like in the top 3 and everything we were hitting. And then of course COVID hit and shut everything down. So I'm a little bit rusty when it comes to competitions because they're just starting back up again. So and now it's like a business thing. Like most of the time competitions are, or when my events are. So it's like I have to find a time where competitions don't go with the business, and then I'll try to get into. So I'm hoping actually on the 15th of April we'll be in Fresno.
At that same comp?
Yeah, no, it's gonna be. I think it's like it's a rib and a tri-tip competition.
Oh, okay.
So, okay. Yeah, I can send you the flyer.
Yeah, for sure. Love to see that.
Yeah, John's an enter.
Yeah. So, no.
Come on, man, you enter.
No. So, I mean, even if I got last, I wouldn't care because I would cook it. I would go there, cooking it exactly how I want to eat it, and then just make it way too sweet for me, and that's what they're gonna get. And that's what they're gonna get. And they'll be like, hey, whoever did this, that's cool. It's not gonna win, but like, hey, this isn't bad. Or they're gonna be like, yeah, this guy, he's not a comp guy.
It's tough, man. But it's kind of, competitions are one of those things that it's either in your blood or it's not. My dad, I tried to get him to do a competition, and he was like, I don't want to do it for the longest time. And then we did one together, and he's like, we came in like 7th place out of like 20 teams. He's like, hey, this is pretty fun. And I'm like, yeah. So, and then I've done competitions with guys, and they're like, oh, this kind of sucked. And I'm like, yeah, some days you have good days, some days you don't, it just depends.
I wouldn't mind doing it with someone like that. Like you're saying, you brought your dad along and like getting a taste for it, but there ain't no way. I mean, I just don't see it in me. I don't see it in me. I mean, I'll cook ribs, I'll cook this and that, but most of the time I'm goofing off or experimenting or trying something for the first time, and that's what I enjoy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But there's a lot of like the SCA competitions are great because they push your creativity. So like say the ancillary is like a hot dog. If you just turn in like hey, look, I bacon wrapped a hot dog, they're gonna be like, yeah, last. You have to have like hey, I made a bacon wrapped hot dog with corn salsa and guacamole, and
and beef rib on top. Yeah,
right. Yeah,
dude, I see the Bloody Mary.
World.
Can we talk about the Bloody Mary competitions at these barbecue shows? It's like an entire buffet of food, like stacked on this glass.
Yeah.
Like, what is this? What is this all about now? It's not a Bloody Mary competition anymore. It's an edible arrangement competition now.
Yeah.
It's an edible arrangement.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, I saw one, there was like 3 beef ribs, and it was like this whole built burger thing. And there's like 5 guys walking it over to the table to make sure nothing. And it's like, I thought it was supposed to be who made the best Bloody Mary.
Right.
It probably tasted like crap.
Yeah, right? They don't even get down to it because they're like,
they don't even get down to it.
They don't even get to it. It's just for show, dude. It's like they don't even try it. It's just like
I just think it's that when I started seeing that all over the internet last year, I was like, oh, this is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But Ryan, I know I started to dabble into the competition scene one time before, and then I talked myself out of it. But somebody told me I needed to take a judge's class or to get it to be a certified judge. That way you learn what the judges look for. Did you do any of that?
I did. So we took our SCA. Hang on, guys. I'm gonna change this around because I got to plug my laptop in. So we took we were doing SCA competitions, and I actually told my partner at the time. I said, "Hey, we need to like one of us needs to take a judging class so we can see what they're scoring us on because we're not hitting anything." And so he's like, yeah, I don't really want to judge it or anything. And I said, well, I'll take it. So I actually took the SCA judging class, and our next one that we took, we hit 5th place or 10th place with that, and the 5th place on the next one. So if you're going to get into competitions, I highly recommend taking a judging class because it's not like regular barbecue.
That's why
so much more.
That's why Booyah called you and you guys did that collab, because you got the inside scoop.
Yeah. So I highly recommend it. Taking a class, or even like a lot of these guys now, they put their stuff on YouTube. You can just Google YouTube judging, like KCBS judging stuff, and they'll show you kind of like what they're looking for. But it's just, if you're into competitions, I suggest taking a class. Well, the way I would do it if I had to start all over is I would go with somebody. And then if it got into my blood and I wanted to do it, I would take classes and then, then go from there. Because if you do like I did and just be like, hey, I can cook, and you walk out there and you're like, you turn your food in, you come in dead last, you're like, screw it, I'm not cooking for you guys.
That's right. Yeah.
So
with the steak, do they want real sweet profiles like the KCBS, or is it totally different?
It depends on every situation. So like you have, you can have.
How do you adapt to that?
You have usually like 9 times out of 10, you have 3 tables, and each table has like 5 judges, like 4 or 5 judges, something like that. So your first steak, you might get like table A. Your second steak, you might get table C. So table A might have liked your flavor profile, but table C doesn't. So you kind of have to find that like in the middle where everybody likes the same kind of thing, and and if you don't, then it really is just hit and miss, and it comes down to a lot of it for the steak competitions is like doneness, tenderness, and how it looks. Of course, if you sear the crap out of a steak and burn it and turn it in, you're not going to score anything for taste. But a lot of I took the judging class. I'm gonna be honest. After my 12th, 13th steak, they all tasted like steak. It's salty meat. So it really comes down to like.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure you do get tired of that. You get that same taste over and over and over.
Yeah, the palate fatigue is what they call it. So after a while, it just tastes the same.
And see, that's what there's, especially with like the KCBS where everything's sweet and all these crazy flavors. How on earth are they keeping up with that palate wise?
I don't know, and it's different. Like if you cook West Coast style, back in like Kansas City, you will come in dead last. So you kind of have to adapt to where you're at. So like if you get a Texas guy that comes out here and he's like, oh, I'm top championship and whatever, I guarantee you he probably won't be coming. He might come in top 10, but he probably won't be number 1 because West Coast is so much different than Texas, and Texas is so much different than KCBS. And so even though you're doing the KCBS style, the judges of where you're located their palates are all different.
That's a very, very good point that I didn't really think about either. That's a very good point.
So in saying that, have you just done comps in Cali, or have you ventured to other states?
No, we have not done anything out of California. I've only done California states or California competitions, but man, I'd love to. I mean, Arizona, Vegas, they put on some great competitions, but I haven't been able to partake in those yet.
2023.
Well, speaking of all these events and comps, I gotta play a video and ask about this one.
Okay, that's scary. Okay, yeah, that's our UB40 one.
Yeah.
So last year, I'm sorry. Go ahead, man.
No. I was like, tell us about this one.
Yeah. So last year we were approached by the management team that runs all the outdoor concerts, and they're like, "Hey, we're looking for a barbecue food vendor. Are you interested?" And I'm like, "Yeah." So I mean, free concerts, and it's like.
No, that sounds terrible.
I know, right?
Yeah.
So last year we got in on the end season of it, and so our first one was Slightly Stupid. I guess they're like a reggae band. I don't know if you guys have heard of them or not. I've never heard of them, but so they had like Slightly Stupid. It was a reggae band. It was pretty cool, and so we started with that one. Then our next one was UB40, which was a killer show. And then I was done. I packed up my stuff. We sold out early. So I walked down to the bathroom and I walked back, and the OG Wellers were sitting there signing autographs and stuff. And I'm like, hey, I'm going to see. There was like nobody there because everybody was like in line for UB40. Right. And so I walked over and I'm like, hey, do you guys mind signing I got an LP signed by him. He's like, do you mind signing this? They're like, no. So those are the two dudes that started the band with Bob Marley, man. I mean, how could you pass that up,
No, exactly. That's why I wanted to, I know UB40 is cool, but I knew the Wailers, Bob Marley and the Wailers. That's what it was. That was that's cool, man.
It was super cool. So I got to talking with them, and they're like, hey, do you have any more food left? I'm like, oh, I literally just sold out. And they're like, oh, next time we come through, man, you got to save some for us. So my goal is to feed the artist, because that's would be like the next super cool level of doing concerts, Heck
yeah.
So we actually, I'm sorry, we were gonna finish out with who was coming in October? I forgot who it was. Somebody was coming in October, and we actually got sick, so we missed that one. And they came out this year, and they came up to us already, and they're like, hey, are you interested in doing the barbecue thing again? I'm like, yeah, absolutely. So in April, we start this time. So we're getting in the beginning, and we're doing ZZ Top, baby.
Yeah, nice. Hell yeah. Hey, that was my first concert. I was 11. My Uncle Chuck took me. Shout out, Uncle Chuck. Yeah. It was great because when the weed smell started coming through Arco Arena, my cousins were all, you smell that? And they're like, yeah, it's just cigarettes. I can't believe they're smoking in here. And I'm like,
yeah.
It's hysterical. So real quick, Willow says, these dang wives getting us to start businesses.
Right?
Straight up. It's like exactly how he got pushed into making Willows. And it's just funny.
That's awesome.
Let's get a couple more from the audience
What
here.
about I say?
T. Carmack, how in depth will you take it in competition barbecue? Just in we kind of talked about this.
Hmm.
Or ranked or compete nationally.
I'd be doing good just to keep it in the state for right now. I'm not. I mean, we got some heavy hitters in California, and they're killing it. So if I went up against them, I'd be a little intimidated right now. So let me get a few more under my belt, and then maybe we'll take it a little a little further.
Hey, there's a couple guys on your team, man, on your Blazing Star crew that are getting pretty heavy.
Yeah, Joe's very good. He's been hitting
Joe's.
pretty hard.
hmm Rio's got a couple
Yeah, Rio's been
wins
doing
under
good
his
too.
belt. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, man, Mike, he's doing good with the SEA. He's got his first competition he did was fifth place out of like 30 teams.
That's awesome. I didn't
That's
see
good.
Yeah,
that one. That's
yeah.
good. Oh boy, here's a long one.
Yeah.
In my experience in competition, barbecue was such an amazing, humbling, and fun experience. It's sports tailgating mixed with family reunion, mixed with a concert vibe, sprinkled with a party.
Yep.
Dude, that's
In a nutshell, of course.
that's like if you want to sell someone on competition barbecue, everybody needs to take the quote that one right there.
Right? That's funny.
Yeah. So, what's your? I mean, I know you said your main is that your main focus. You want this is a business, so you're building this, right? Is that like your big goal for this year is to just expand that, or do you kind of want to keep it on track the way it is and competition or because like some people stop focus on the business and then when that gets to where they can venture away more,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. Go play golf.
Yeah, essentially.
Yeah. So my goal, so we started last year. I
hmm
had a utility trailer that I carried everything around, packed it up, unpacked it. It sucked. It sucked a lot.
yeah.
So I'm talking like the U-Haul looking one, open bed,
Yeah,
so
yep.
you have to strap everything down in the middle of the street and crap. Last year we were able to buy an old horse trailer, and we got that for
Oh,
$500. So we just put that to work.
holy cow, that's a steal.
So
Stole it.
my goal is to upgrade that.
Oh,
This year
nice.
I want to get a barbecue concession trailer.
There
So
you
those are the ones that have
Oh,
the kitchen in it, and then it has like a
yeah,
6-foot porch in the back, so you
the
can have your
porch, yeah.
smokers and stuff
go.
like
Yep.
that.
hmm
So I don't want anything huge right now. Like some of these guys are running like 26, 30-foot trailers. I'm like an 18-foot would be great for us, because it's just me and my wife and the kids, and
Yeah.
the smokers don't take up much room. So I really want to. That's going to be my goal for this year is to shoot for that or as close as possible to that.
hmm
I'll set up a GoFundMe for me if anybody's interested. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
Um,
right.
and
That's awesome.
so like in between that, so what I told like last year, I told Nicole like so it takes I'm taking business management classes, so it takes 5 years to build up your business and get it going and get it established
Right.
where you're making a continual profit.
Yeah.
So my goal is to stay focused on that for to continually to build profit each year and to build that
Yeah.
up. But you know what? You've got to take your mental breaks. If you work yourself, it's like any other job. If you work yourself to death on it, you could cook every day, 12 hours a day, and you're going to get burnt out at one point. So you've got to take breaks. There's sometimes that they went us for events last year, and I told Nicole, I go, I'm not working this weekend. We're taking the weekend off, and we're going to go to the camping, or we're going to go do a competition, or do something like that. So you got to have that work life balance. So it's just like any other thing. So
Nice. Yeah, because I was going to ask you, what do you do to not get that burnout? And you answered it.
barbecue,
Yeah. More barbecue.
barbecue for fun.
So is that your full time job or do you have a day job? As we said,
That is my let's see. So how do I want to put that? Barbecue is my side gig, and being a stay-at-home dad is my full-time job. So-
Oh God. Oh well. Okay. So here, Because how important is your time at home versus as a husband and father versus your hours at work? Do you work? What they were that was a comment from
Oh,
both or a
okay.
question from both of us. Like, I work at a power plant. During the week, it's 8 hours a day unless something crazy happens or whatever, and then I'm on call once a month. But
Yeah.
if I now I just dream about the day that this makes me money so I can live that life where
Right.
I can, and maybe that's why pop-ups or comps sound so overwhelming and like not even fun and worth it to me because like it's my only that cooking is my escape from everybody else and everything else in my regular
Yeah.
life, and then like to put all that pressure on, it's like, why would I ruin my sanctuary? But
Yeah.
if I didn't have to worry, that's my goal, is so I can quit my day job so then I can do whatever I want with this forever.
Right. Well, for us, it kind of, I mean, I don't like to say like bad things happen for a reason because I don't believe that. But I do believe that things work together for
Hmm.
good. And so I actually went on disability 2 years ago for my knee. I popped my knee at work, and
Oh.
yeah, I was on disability for 2 years, and well, like a year and a half, and I was just like, I was trying to find work, and like COVID was, everybody wanted to work at home because they were getting paid to stay home.
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
and I was like, man, I just can't find anything. And then my wife, who was kind of like the main source of income at that time, she actually got fired from her job for not
Ugh.
uh, for all that political stuff. But I
Yeah.
don't, I
Yes,
don't want you guys,
sir.
I don't want
Yes,
to get you guys
sir.
kicked off or anything. So,
Oh, don't
so
worry
she
about it. I didn't
actually,
get it either.
yeah, she actually lost her job. So, and that
That's
was
terrible.
20. Let's see, what was that? 20. I think that was 21. So we kind of looked at each other too at the same line. That's kind of like where the, hey, you need to, what do you feel you can do? Can you do events and stuff like that? So in between rehabbing my knee, I started up the business along, with her pushing it. And so we usually just do like the weekend events because most of the time I had we have 3 kids, 9, 4,
Mhm.
and 2. And so my 9-year old, he goes to a regular school, and my 4-year old and 2-year old, we actually finally got him in a pre-K.
Oh,
um,
nice. Okay.
yeah, so I know the question I was kind of going off, but
Hmm.
family time is like everything for me.
Yeah.
Like I love being my own boss because I'm anti-authoritarian, so I don't like to look up to people. I'm just kidding. No,
Hmm.
I don't like.
I get it.
I have a hard time with management because a lot of people, a lot of times in my jobs, the people that they put in management were people that they liked and not people that deserve that chance to be in management.
Yes,
And
sir.
oh man, so I love working for myself. I mean, I don't have a steady paycheck. I can't tell you every 2 weeks I get paid $500. I might make $900 in an event and 20 at the next one.
Yeah.
But I love it. Because I get to be here for my kids when they get off school. I get vacation, sick leave with them. They call in sick. My wife can work. I can stay home with them. I get vacation days during the summer with them. So I do everything. We do everything as a family. Family is everything to me. And if I didn't have that, I would just be wandering the streets, aimlessly.
Down an old dusty road.
Yeah. Yeah. And the dog, if the dog ever ran away too, I'd be sad.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, here's a cool question. Tailing off your what you were talking about, your trailers and stuff. Is there a piece of cooking equipment you have been looking at or saving for or something, and why? Besides the trailers, is there something new you want?
Oh, of course. There's always something new that we want, right? I mean, that's how they keep us addicted, is because they dangle that carrot and be like, look what
Well,
I
yeah,
got.
Mhm.
my big one is I want to get an actual sous vide wand
Oh
or
yeah, those
whatever
are
they're
cool.
called,
Mhm.
because I I uh I cooked this brisket out of nowhere, and I was like, if I reheat this in any way, a microwave or whatever, it's toast. Like
Yeah.
that'll just destroy all the moisture. So how do I keep it good? Now, throwing it into something like making brisket tacos, or then you're adding other things. That's different. But
Right.
and I was like, that sous vide crap's got to work, right? I didn't have nothing, so I got this tub and I measured out all the water and I put it in the microwave and heated it all hot, and then I sunk my bag of brisket in there and just let it sit in the hot water, and it was like I just pulled it off. You know, it was perfect. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So now whenever I do stuff, I just boil a pot of water, turn the gas off, and then put stuff with lids on, and in 30 minutes it's like I just pulled it off the barbecue. So my big thing is a sous vide machine for that. I don't want to cook with it. I mean, I'll probably try it, but I don't know why you would want to cook your steak in a bag of inside water and then torch it a little bit. Like, I'd rather all day it goes on fire over charcoal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, is there anything like that you're?
So, I know we'll probably lose a couple people in the chat room here. I'm actually looking for a gas grill. I know. Look, I have one of everything right now except for a gas grill.
I want one too. I do.
And some of these companies are like coming out with such cool technology in them. Like, you can throw wood chips in it now. Yep. And you can do, you know, like, you can even have like a charcoal tray where you can burn a little bit of charcoal in it. I'm like, all right, that's cool, you know. And and I always look at it so like, I'm always business like minded, right? So I look at it as opportunities. So I look at it as, yes, I could probably work with this grill company, and if that doesn't work out, then what's next? Well, the grills like that, propane, right?
Yep.
So then you can start working with propane companies, and we're last year we got to work with Blue Rhino, and so they do.
That's right.
Yeah, they supplied our stuff for last year, so we're hoping to cultivate something out of that. But I honestly, it would be like a gas grill, because that's probably the one thing I don't have. So it'd be cool to have.
It's so funny that you put it like that too, because we always usually, but everybody, like, they have their place.
Yeah.
Weren't you gonna say something, Damon?
No, I was gonna exactly say what you just said. You know, every fuel source has its place, regardless.
Yeah, it's like your shed for your tools, you know. Like, I mean, if you're gonna go cultivate a garden, are you gonna use just a shovel? Well, good luck. You're gonna be out there all week, you know.
That's right.
That's why you have a rake, you have a shovel, you have all these other different things. So it's same with us as barbecue guys. You know, some days. Honestly, some days I'm just like too tired to fire up the charcoal and all that. Let's just turn on the gas, you know, cook it, and it's done. And if you know how to cook properly, gas is amazing. Okay, if you sit there and you let your chicken go to 165, it's not good. But if you take it off at like 160, 162, it's going to carry over and still be juicy. So if you know how to cook something properly, and you know what temperatures you're looking for, you can cook on anything, and it'll turn out delicious.
Yeah, because like go ahead. No, you good. Go ahead. You good.
Yeah, part of that is letting things rest.
Yeah,
like I knew about resting, right? But until I really delve into this, you know, over the last few years, I didn't ever realize how important that rest was. Like, because if you cut into that tri-tip too soon, you lose so much juice.
Yeah.
Where if you wait 30 minutes and then cut into it, it's still that juicy, and some's gonna come out, but most of that's back in the meat because everything's settled down now.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. Resting is, I mean, even 10 to 15 minutes, if you're like in a rush, 10 to 15 minutes does miracles for food. Like, you just take it off, cover it. I mean, so like chicken, you know, if you take it off at 162, you put it in the pan, cover it, and put it on the side for 10, 15 minutes, it's going to hit 165, but then it's going to be juicy, and it's not going to be dry, and it's not going to be overdone. So yeah,
for sure.
That's like one of the biggest things is people are like, I don't like barbecue chicken. And I know exactly why they're saying that, because you've always been fed dry ass chicken.
Yep.
That's the only way you would not like barbecue chicken, because it's delicious.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, but no, what I was going to say, even down what you were saying with your gas grill, I mean, if you know what you're doing, you can take and heat one side of the gas grill and meat cold side the other side and put your meat on. And like you say, there's all kind of ways to put smoke into a gas grill.
Yeah,
these days,
man.
So, I mean, you can still BTU is a BTU.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? And you can get a smoke ring on a gas grill.
Yep.
You know, I mean, I'll throw a tri-tip on a gas grill. You know, you throw it on the cold side, and you let that heat circulate through it. You get a nice smoke ring on that. You know, so I mean, but a lot of that plays in a lot of, you know, there is some science and stuff like that plays into it. You know, and all that. But I mean, it just, like I said, if I guess you just sum it up. You know, if you know what you're doing with your meat, then you know you can grill on anything.
True. 100.
And knowing what to take. So like, I actually had a YouTube video where I put on chicken thighs, and I took them to 200, right? In the description, I tell them take them to 200. I had comments. They were like, "Oh, way to ruin the meat and dry it out." And I'm like, actually, if you take chicken thighs, chicken wings to 200, they will be better than if you take them to 165. But you know, not a lot of people know that, so it's funny to watch. I like it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I love the people who are like, oh, this guy doesn't know what he's doing. Look.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's fine. You can think that.
Yep.
For sure.
It's funny. Like, it's really funny how some things work like that. Like, I always tell people, at least I won't pull any like the darker meat, the wings, the legs, the thighs, any under 180.
Mm-hmm.
I won't, because it just gets a little bit better up there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it has that time for it to, you know, it's kind of like the pork. It melts down and then it's just soft. And I mean, you see those videos where you take the wings and just strip them. You can't do that at 165, but you can do that
you
at 200.
Can't do it at 175. It's got to get up there. It's got to be at least above 185. It's funny you say that on a pork butt, because I one time started probing my pork butt, like it was like 185, and I'm like making sure everything's getting tender, and I'm like, oh my gosh, there's butter everywhere. Oh, sweet. I don't have to wait another hour or 2 hours, right?
Yeah.
So I pulled off, I let it rest. I'm sure it hit like 188, maybe tops.
Yeah.
And it all pulled off until I got to this one muscle that just locked all back up. And I was like, what the
Yep.
And it's because, it was fine for that 1 second, but everything, there's a reason why it takes that long. And that's why it costs a little bit extra, folks.
Yeah. Yep.
For sure. Yeah, you got to have that.
Here we go. Another question right here.
I was just about to hit it.
What is your best and or favorite dish meal you make, and can you walk us through the steps if you're willing?
Ooh, wow. Gosh, best.
I told you gotta watch out for T. Carmack.
That's like asking a chocolate lover what their favorite chocolate candy bar is, and can you pick one?
That's a great way to put that.
I don't know, man. That's I would say I guess my go-to would be chicken. You know, like any kind of, I mean, I guess you could just go with chicken. Like I love chicken, and there's just so much you can do with it. You can cook a breast, you can cook the thighs, you can make tacos out of it, you can put it in a casserole, you can just do whatever you want with it, you know. I don't know. I don't know how to answer that question, really.
So, okay. What's the most recent thing that you that you did with chicken that really was like, oh, this is a keeper?
Jeez. I don't know. I guess it would be like the wings. I mean, you know, there's just so many varieties you can do with wings. So like we took some of those branding iron buffalo wings for Super Bowl, and I put those down, and then I put some scorpion on it, and then tossed it in a cream sauce and some cayenne pepper sauce. And I mean, that's, you know, it was amazing. But it's just so versatile. I mean, there's just so much you could do with it. You know, I would say chicken's probably my dish that I go for, just because I like to use it on salads and stuff like that too. So I'll make like grilled chicken breast and then dice it up and put it in a salad, use it in tacos, do whatever. So I mean, I don't have like oh, what are we cooking tonight? Oh, this is my go-to dish, But if you go on like my Instagram or Facebook or whatever, you can see I put all the recipes for for the dishes that I cook and stuff like that. If anything inspires you, or you want me to cook something, I can do that too.
And it's exactly how it is on his name right here, and it's down in the bottom right here at HigherGrillingBBQ on all social media.
Yep,
So get out.
Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook.
This is a cool one. T Carmack, you got to just come out, and we need to know who you are. Come on the show one of these times or something. I don't know. Maybe we just need you as like a side interviewer. If you were to visit Damon State, what authentic staple food would you request him to introduce you to since he's not in California?
I'm sorry. I thought that was a question for Damon. I'm like sitting here going, yeah, what are you going to do, man?
Oh no, so I'm gonna make it into a question for both of you. So he's asking what would you request him to introduce you to going over to South Carolina? And then Damon, what if he doesn't say it, what would you make sure that he had to try? You know what I mean? This is a two-person, we're getting both sides of this one.
Well, definitely. I mean, you're Southern State, man. You got to get some of that, some of that Southern food. You got to get some, fried chicken and like the Creole chicken, or something like that. I don't know. It's something good, I guess. I mean, I don't know. I like chicken.
He loves chicken.
All right, Damon. If we all show up and we're like, hey, we got one meal to eat today in South Carolina. What are we eating?
We're going barbecue. We're gonna go pulled pork. I mean, we known for pulled pork in the South.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, and we just keep it simple. I mean, there's nothing fancy. There's not a whole lot of seasoning to it. We let the meat speak for itself. So,
yep.
I mean,
there's a lot of like whole hog pulled pork pits and stuff down there, right?
There is.
Yeah.
There is. Like your big time guys, like they like Rodney Scott started, whole hog way back in the day. So
I think his dad or grandpa did or whatever. Yeah.
So now he's well known for whole hog. So
but and I agree with that, Damon, because that's the way that I cook my food. If your food is done right, you don't need sauce.
Nope.
Because all a sauce does is cover up your mistakes.
Yep.
So if you know how to cook your food and you cook it properly, I mean, especially like pulled pork, man, I hardly ever sauce pulled pork. I put all those juices back in there, all that butter and everything that came out of it, and oh man, now I'm hungry, guys.
But yeah, I mean, I'm the same way. I mean, I'll use all the juice that goes back in it from the butts.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't even add anything extra. Like you'll see a lot of people add like apple juice and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I just whatever juice comes out of that meat is what goes back into the meat.
Yeah.
So and I make several sauces, and I'm like what you said. You get your sauce and set it on the side. If you want to put some on it, put it on it to complement it. If you want an extra flavor or something like that, but you really don't need it.
No.
So okay, because I completely agree. I 100% agree. Like if you can't make it speak for itself and like be good on its own, like I love her to death. My wife loves A1 steak sauce, and it's like a little pinprick to my heart every time. But she doesn't need it. It's not like, but she just really enjoys that salty, vinegary, that blend of flavor on her steak. I've done pulled porks where it's just straight up. Like I just put the rub or whatever, and whatever it is together is what it is. And they're really good. But I've also done where I put like a little juice, a little bit of this, some more seasoning, doctored up a bit. I've also done where I mixed it with sauce, or I made it in a way where I put sauce on the sandwich. So I mean, it's just like the gas. Everything has its place, but I believe that you should be able to cook without having to use any of that.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like you're saying, on the side, or it's just an accent at the end on the sandwich, or blah blah blah.
Yep, for sure.
Yeah. And if you want to lose a few more followers, take your pork butt and smoke it for about 3 hours, and then throw it in the Instapot for another 2 hours and let it shred. And then you have all your juices and everything in there. Just a little bit, maybe just a little bit of apple juice or something like that if you want in there. And then you've got all your juices contained in there, the shreds and everything. It's great, especially if you're doing like big caterings and stuff like that. Then you're not cooking for 20 hours.
Dude, we're gonna lose a few more, but damn, that was a good idea right there.
Sorry, man. I know you didn't bring me on to lose followers, but
no, it's cool, man. Like sometimes you hear it and you're like, really? And then you're like, no, dude, that's actually a really good idea.
Yeah,
and especially like if you're saying, go ahead, Damon. Go ahead.
No, because I was gonna say, because I mean, the meat's not gonna take but so much smoke.
Yep.
After so long, it don't matter if you cook it for 20 hours. Yep. It ain't getting 20 hours worth of smoke.
Yep.
So, and that's just my opinion. But I mean, I'm no pro.
It's an average, depending on the cut of meat, like 3 to 5 hours is max. Yep. So, I mean, of course, it's you're not going to get throwing it in the Instapot. You're not going to get what I want to say, like the bone pool and all that.
Right. Yeah. Or the bark.
You're going to get. Like it's actually, if you leave it uncovered in the smoker for 3 hours, you're going to get that crust. And you're going to get the smoke ring, and you're going to get all the juices still in there because you're actually pulling it after 3 hours. You're like 160-ish, maybe 145, so you're still a little raw. So you're not losing anything.
Right.
And you slice it in half and throw it in the crock pot. You still, once it cooks, you still got all your juices. You've got all your bark. You've got flavoring. I mean, it's just, if you don't want to do it for 20 hours and stay up all night babying, watching something, I mean, you cut it in half and cook it like that, dude. It's amazing.
This is my signal in the shows to clip this. We make little clips from all the shows. So this is going to be the how to do a pork butt, the cheat.
The West Coast style.
West Coast pork.
Don't put it on us like that.
But you're not gonna clip that part.
Right. So like what I do now with my pellet grill is I'll put a pork butt on at like 190. That's all I'll set the pellet grill at overnight, and it'll never ever come out of the stall before I wake up.
Yeah.
Like not at that temp,
No.
Mm-hmm.
And so I wake up and then I'll tent it or whatever, do whatever I'm gonna do with it, and crank it up to 275, and it'll finish in a couple hours when I want it to be done, time it out or whatever. And I'm not kidding, there's some parts of that pork that their smoke rings like that thick. Yeah. But it tastes the same amount of smoky, people.
Yeah. That's right.
As the one that, I did. It just, I smoked it for 18 hours. Okay.
It's the best ever.
I sat out in January here in California, and it gets cold up here. And I was like, literally like teenage trying to get up on his girlfriend with a firebox, dude, trying to stay warm all night. Because I wanted to cook my first brisket, and I wanted to do it on an offset, like the traditional way, all this stuff. And it was it's the same. Like I hurt my, it was like, I won't do that again. Not in that cold. Like I'll do it when it's comfortable and it's a good time. But other than that, like it's not, I don't, like you're saying about the smoke, I don't find that there's flavor differences all across all these different ways of cooking enough for me to be like, oh no, you got to do it this way over this, with this. Like, I honestly laugh most of the time when people say they can taste the difference in the wood. Now I know there are some. I know there are some. I know there are some that give off a really distinct flavor, but for the most part, I'm sorry, bro. There's way too much rub and sauce on your shit for you to be able to taste
Right.
the wood.
Yeah.
But to me, mesquite's got that real bad bite
I
to
don't
it.
use mesquite
So
though.
I don't either.
No,
I
you can overuse mesquite, and it's real fast too.
And it's funny because not picking on any region, but that's a Texas style wood,
Mm-hmm.
and I can go to Bucky's and get one of their sandwiches, and I can taste the mesquite
Yeah.
in their sandwich because it's just got that sharpness to me, and it stands out to me.
Yeah, I actually stopped using it after we used it for competitions, and I had a judge write. They actually one time I actually got a scorecard back, and they wrote me back, and they wrote it on there. And they said too much smoke flavor, and I was like, is that even possible? But it is, because too much smoke will actually give your meat a bitter taste instead of that wood flavor you're looking for. So I learned that the hard way.
Dude, I had to. So I come over and I'm smoking on my dad's offset with him one time, and he's like, I'm like, oh yeah, perfect. I got that nice thin blue smoke, and he's like, you don't have any smoke. I'm like, yeah, this is what you want right here.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, oh man, I just usually wait till there's white billowing smoke everywhere and just let it rock. And I'm like, dude, no wonder Mom hates smoked meats.
I wonder if she gets the runs.
That's funny.
Oh, dude, it was so funny.
Oh god.
Lucy's barbecue says smoke with fig wood, it'll change your life.
Yeah, that sounds good too.
That's pretty
I
good.
bought some peachwood.
Oh, nice. Ooh, I know there's some peach orchards around here. I should go get some.
Mm-hmm.
I use a lot of almond. Do we have tons of almond orchards up
here?
That's what I was going to ask.
And almond is dude. It gets, when it's really seasoned, it gets so hard that like my huge like stand up bandsaw will start. It'll like just start burning through it instead of it. Yes, like almond's hard wood. So like a year or two old, dude. That like it burns hot and it burns for a good time. Like it's a good. And my favorite part is when I started using it a lot more was when I'd open up the firebox or open up the Weber and I'd smell it. I was like, oh my God, that wood smells so good.
Yeah. And it's not a harsh wood either. So you can, you can use a bigger chunk of it and it won't put off that harsh taste when you pull your meat. A lot of these, there are some like the mesquite and there's a couple others that they're like even oak. If you get some like post oak, that's almost like a harsh flavor to it. So you just got to have to really scale it back with those kinds. But I mean, I could throw a couple of lumps of peach in there and it doesn't, affect it. The fruity woods are really good.
I love. Yeah. So you can use any fruit or nut bearing tree as far as I know. Some of them have certain things like. So I think figs like this. Where I get a bunch of our almond wood from, buddy who's got like ridiculous amounts of orchards. He has some walnut, and like we'll go because he's got lots of trees like eucalypt, all kinds of different trees all around their property. So we'll go down and help him take down dead trees, and he'll let us take it for firewood. But he lets me, I'll never mess, but anything that's fallen on the ground, I'm like, hey, can I go snag that for barbecue? And he's like, yeah. So I got some walnut. In the very center, like the heart of the walnut, it's like almost like styrofoam film feeling. Like it feels like or like that Insta foam, that foam stuff. So like I just scrape all that stuff out because I'm like, I don't know what that would do. And my buddy. It's funny that Lucy brings it up because he said there's like a little cork almost like exactly like in that walnut in the fig that he would just scoop out. So I'd be wondering if that's the same thing he had to do. And then I don't know. I do have another question. Have either of you ever heard of people using nut wood and it giving an allergic reaction to someone who's allergic to nuts?
I haven't. I think the biggest thing with that would be more of the handling, maybe. like the oils and stuff from the wood. But if it's dried out and kiln dried and stuff like that, it should be.
Yeah. Oh, if it's kiln dried, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, if you like go and cut down like a walnut tree and like it's 6 months or a year old, I don't know if maybe like you touch the oils in it and then transfer it to the food. I don't know. I've never heard of it.
I never heard of it.
I randomly, so my one of my wife's older than me, so one of my granddaughters, right? She's like deathly allergic to peanuts, deathly.
Mm.
And so like I smoke with a crap ton of almond wood, and I just was like, I don't know if I thought of it or randomly came across. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
good to know. And I was like, I better just make sure before I take all this almond wood and go cook all this chicken for her at her birthday party,
Right?
And I found like one article where someone was, or it's like some blog or something somewhere on a Google search that was like, oh yeah, I had someone who had an allergic reaction, but maybe that's what it was. Maybe they had just handled something.
Yeah, it probably wasn't dried properly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just don't go cutting down peanut trees.
Yeah, well,
totally joking. That's
no, I know. I hope most people know that they don't grow on trees. They're the only, because they're not even a nut. They're actually a legume.
Yes.
But what are you looking at, Damon?
No, I was I thought they grew on a tree. No, I'm picking.
Oh.
There it goes. Rev says the peanuts are legumes, not nuts.
Yep. Well, man, we usually try and keep this right at about an hour and a half because it's on a Sunday night, and it's late for Damon over on the East Coast.
Yeah, that's not that bad, right?
Yeah. It's 10:30. That's all.
Damon, you got any last questions for Ryan?
I think he covered everything because, I mean, hey, man, keep doing your thing.
No, I appreciate
I like where you headed with it. You got it going for you.
Thank you.
I see big things coming for you.
Yeah, I appreciate it. We're trying to make it happen. Last year I kind of slacked on social media and I just kind of like, I'll do it when I can do it, and this year I kind of made, again, it's one of those life work balance things. You can get sucked into 12 hours of social media and ignore your family. And I was trying to like,
and all responsibilities.
Yeah. Right. And so I try to keep it where this year I'm more brand focused. So I want to represent brands and be attractive to them. And then I also want to get them followers, you know what I mean? So like,
that's right.
Whatever I use, influence it, of course, whatever I use it because not just because I'm, there's some of these things I don't get paid for, but I use them because I know that this is the best that I want to use for my family. A lot of the health stuff that I use, I don't get paid for that, and I'll give them plugs all day long, but I don't get paid for that. It's just that, hey, I've come across this. Nobody else has addressed this. And if you're looking for that, that's what I want to show you, how to do it. So a lot of these guys, they do it for the money, and there's a lot of money in this game. You can, brands can pick you up for anything, but I'm kind of old school. I feel like loyalty plays a part into things, and so I like to align myself with companies that are looking for loyalty along with return on investment. But I mean, a lot of these people, they just want to go, oh, you have 50,000 followers here, I'll give you a bunch of free crap. And then you make one video and don't even like the grill. You know what I mean? Whereas I'm like, I've had people, they're like, hey, can I send this to you? And I research it out. And I'm like, I don't really like where you guys are headed with this. Like, I'm going to have to turn this down because I don't, I'm not just about free stuff. Like I put my name out there with your product. So if people come to my page and go, hey, Ryan's using this, and I'm like, oh, I just used it because I got $50, that's not going to make you believe that I like that product. What's going to make you believe that I like that product is that you see in my videos or my photos, whatever, that I consistently use that. And I'm not getting that paid partnership or whatever, I mean, some of it leads to that. And of course that's an end goal for all that. But, some of these companies that I align myself with, I don't get paid for, but I love their stuff and I want to do more with them, because I believe in their product. So
for sure. That's a good way to look at it.
Yeah.
That's why we like to talk to the people behind the page. Like the whole essence of the show is
Right.
like to get to know like how it started, but then you hear like, oh, I got all these fancy pit barrel looking cookers that match. Oh yes, this and that. But yeah, I just did all this myself because this is who I am. You know,
Yep.
like the guy
Yeah.
Robert, who's always in the chat, was a huge inspiration. He's like, man, you guys, he like just like thought I lived like a king, looking at all my pictures and stuff all the time. And I'm like, oh
Yeah.
no, no, I don't eat like that every single night. Good Lord, I'd be
Right.
I'd look like the blueberry from Willy Wonka.
Hey,
But
man.
no, I'm just like I've already gained so much, dude, and I know I hike stairs all day at work to keep this stuff on, and it's still going. But I'm not watching my sugars like I used to. I know exactly why, I'm eating all this delicious barbecue and not eating vegetables more. Like it's just I know. That's
I
like
know a healthy
today.
barbecue guy if you're interested.
Yeah. Higher grilling, something like that.
Something like that.
Right. But like no, I spent like 4 hours making a soup, just reducing it down with chicken and stuff and nothing but veggies, like a nice, good, healthy break. Everybody's been kind of under the weather, so you gotta pump the brakes on all the fat and
Yeah.
get something in there, clean you out.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
For sure.
well, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for sticking around. Thanks for all the great questions. We don't forget Rev Show on Thursdays, Friday weekend kickoff, and we will see you all next week on another Foodie Show brought to you
Appreciate it,
by
Ryan.
Willow Steezy.
Yeah. Appreciate you guys having me anytime.
Yeah, Ryan, thanks again so much, man.
Of
Go
course.
follow and support Ryan at Higher Grilling BBQ everywhere.
Yeah,
You'll
thank you.
find him.
That's right.
Absolutely.